All right, so contrary to what so many on the left would actually have you believe, crime across the United States is actually on the rise, with incidents in blue cities making national headlines literally every week now. It's becoming more difficult for leaders in cities like Washington, D.C. and New York. They just can't ignore it anymore. Lawlessness is growing to the point where some cities are actually starting to embrace a few tough on crime policies. I know it seems crazy, but are a few new policies enough to keep law enforcement abiding citizens safe from the rising crime? That's really the question, right? Is it too little, too late, and are people going to be safe?
Well, that is the question, and to help us answer it, we have spokesperson for the National Police Association and retired Chicago area police officer Betsy Brantner Smith. Also joining us is president of the Crime Prevention Research Center and author of Gun Control Myths, John Lott Jr. Thank you both so much for joining us. Welcome to Wake Up America Weekend. Betsy, I'm coming to you first. Just 1 week after New York Governor Kathy Hochul deployed 750 National Guardsmen to New York City subways, a shooting occurred, which then sent riders scrambling for their lives. The video is all over social media. And according to police, the aggressor is a 36-year-old man. And he started harassing the would-be victim, a 32-year-old man, and then a struggle after ensued. The agitator was ultimately shot with his own gun. But why did this happen? The National Guard's there, isn't it?
You know, Kathy Hochul just began her 5-point plan for subway safety. And of course, this is what people have to deal with every day on the subway. And these were two guys in their 30s. And I think what's so interesting is a small woman stepped in during this altercation before the shooting started and stabbed the aggressor in the back. And then the victim grabs this guy's gun away from him, uses it. Everybody clears out. This is just another day on public transportation in America. We see similar things in my native Chicago, of course. And again, this is all because of these blue cities and these areas where you can't carry a gun, you can't protect yourself. And let's remember, you know, as you said, the left says crime is down. In reality, crime's not getting reported. A third of crime just doesn't get reported per Biden's own justice system. So, yeah, something's got to give, especially in an election year.
And if I could, I just want to make one point. I've always spoken about broken windows theory. And one of the things that Mayor Rudy Giuliani did here in New York City to get crime under control with the police commissioner was to focus on the smaller crimes. This individual that had the gun, the aggressor, walked through without paying. He was a turn jumper, if you will, turnstile jumper. So he didn't pay his fare. If he would have been stopped for not paying the fare, they probably would have found the gun and this could have been avoided. So just want to mention that. And I understand the police can't be everywhere, but you did have the National Guard there. So you would think that they would have stopped someone from not paying and walking in. So, John, let me go to you. The MTA chairman, Jano Lieberman, speaking out against the violence, was saying the real victims are the people I saw in those videos. They're just trying to go about their lives. Just get rid of the guns. So many New Yorkers seem afraid to intervene or even speak out because of events like the Daniel Penny subway incident that also happened in New York. What is the solution here? So I'll ask you, John, what about that?
Right. Well, I think the city's getting the message all wrong on this. Look, I think police are extremely important. I think police are the single most important factor for reducing crime. But the problem is that you can readily identify who they are, and there's simply too many possible targets that you have. You know, they can go and see, is there somebody in uniform that's on the car with them or nearby? And if there's not, then the criminals feel free to go and commit the crime. Rather than saying we ought to get rid of all guns, you know, they say this shows the danger of having guns on the subway. What it does is it shows you the dangers of letting criminals have guns on subways, but the type of person who goes through the process to get a concealed carry permit tends to be extremely law-abiding. They are convicted of firearms-related violations at 1/12 the rate that police officers are, which are rarely themselves convicted of any types of firearms-related violations. And so, you know, if they want to go and make it risky for criminals to go and commit crimes in places where they don't see a police officer nearby, having concealed carry actually makes it so that the criminals don't know who it is that they have to worry about.
Yeah, Betsy, I just want to quickly bring this in. We've got a minute left, but on Monday, Mayor Muriel Bowser signed into law the Secure DC Omnibus Amendment Act for 2024. So the bill includes harsher penalties for gun and retail crimes and expands the definition of carjacking and creates drug-free zones. What does that say about the state of America right now?
Well, Muriel Bowser has completely reversed her policies from 3 years ago. And even the far left members of the DC City Council are somewhat getting on board with these new laws. They're also going to do things like change the definition of chokehold. They're going to allow police officers to view their body camera footage before they write reports. So they're doing things that will not only help stop crime, but to help them recruit more police officers, because like most large cities, the district is very shorthanded. I think this is a good trend. I think it'll be a good model for the rest of the country to get on board with.
Betsy, here's the good news. They're going to be drug-free zones, so drug dealers will just not sell drugs in those drug-free zones. I don't know why they just didn't think of that ahead of time. Why don't we make the United States a drug-free zone and then it all goes away? We could have gun-free zones, too. They'll listen to that. It's all ludicrous nonsense, but it's St. Patrick's Day, so there you go. Betsy Brantner-Smith, John Lott Jr., thank you very much for joining us on this St. Patrick's Day Eve. Have a happy St. Patrick's Day.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks to you both. All right, we do have to go to a break, but we have a lot more to talk about when we get back, so don't go anywhere. You're watching Wake Up America Weekend.